Thank you for turning to page 121. Today we're going to jump into the third Imperium book from Traveller, one of my absolute favorite gaming supplements of all time, and I don't say that lightly. This book is just chock full of so much goodness. I took a look at this a couple of years ago on the channel. It's a good book. But that is not Doctor Strange on the throne. That is Emperor Strephon and his family. We're going to take a look at the UWP, the Universal World Profile of Capital, the home world, the throne world of the Third Imperium, where the Emperor hangs his cloak. And as we see, Capital is right there. Capital is an interesting world for a couple of reasons. For one thing, it's within the Silean cultural zone, which means it has special rules pertaining to Silea, which was the world's original name, and it gets some special dispensations on some things from the Third Imperium. So it's kind of neat that the capital is actually in a cultural zone, but that's kind of why the capital got founded. But the capital itself, looking at the hex here, we have a star, which is an Imperial naval base. We have a gas giant, which is the little ringed planet. We have a red triangle, which is a scout way station. Picture of a planet, which shows us that it is a water planet. A and -F refer to the UWP, the Universal World Profile. I'm going to take a look at that in detail. So Capital itself is a neat little world. I actually like Capital. Doing more research for this video made me like Capital even more. So Capital is an A in the very first chart, and the A is the class of starport that's there, and surprise, surprise, Class A starport. It can serve as any ship of any size. Well, that's as it should be. It is the capital after all. The size of the world is a 5. That is, the second digit is a 5. It's only 8,000 kilometers, which would normally yield a 0.35 gravity, which is a third of our normal gravity. But due to a thin mantle and a big thick layer core of nickel and iron, it is a 0.69 gravity. That's kind of neat too. So our core world doesn't even have 1G. It's 0.69. That would take some getting used to. Our next digit up is an 8. 8 means it has a dense atmosphere. This is something that you can breathe, but might be a little tough for you to breathe at ground level if you're not native to it. You might have to actually seek some elevation or some additional help breathing. I would think of it as being for me with my breathing problems, would be the equivalent of walking outside on a very hot, humid day. That, to me, the atmosphere feels very dense. Our next digit is a 6. 6 is the hydrographic percentage. The world is covered in 56 to 65% of water. So it's a very hospitable world as far as that goes. Now we go to A. The digit A is population. It is tens of billions of sophons. I like that a lot. I like that it's not humans and it doesn't really break down because it is capital. It would have a lot of different alien species, lots of human species represented. So I think that's kind of cool. Our next digit is a 9, and that's the government type. And surprise, surprise, it's an impersonal bureaucracy, just like the rest of the Third Imperium. Fill out this form, stand in line. Picture going to the DMV all the time. That kind of world. DMV, for folks who aren't from the United States, is Department of Motor Vehicles. And then the next digit after that is 8, law level. Law level. Everything is banned pretty much, up to blade weapons, stunners, and all visible armor. You can't have that. You can't carry around pistols and such unless you have licensing, and licensing would take quite a bit to do on Capital. With all the important nobles wandering around on the planet, it is very strictly controlled. And then finally, F. We're at tech level. High stellar, tech level 15. That is the highest end of the Imperium, and not surprisingly, the capital has the best of the best of the best. I really like looking at the UWP because it gives you a nice thumbnail of what the planet can be with just the digits, but then you look at the details. So I went to the rest of the book and I looked at some more of the details. So there's Capital itself, and it tells us the seat of government of the Third Imperium and home to the Emperor, who resides in the Grand Palace of Arbalatra, and members of the peerage who assemble at the Moot Spire. Pleasant world with varied climate, oceans that cover 2/3 of the surface, and a dense atmosphere of suitable oxygen-nitrogen mix. Residents of Capital have gotten used to the density of the air over time, but the atmospheric pressure for unadapted humans can be kind of tough. It's more comfortable for unadapted humans to live at higher levels. The world has 5 continents and many islands and archipelagos. And the system primary is Zan-Ki-Ond, a Type 2 G-main sequence star, nearly identical to that of Terra, our Sol. However, Capital is slightly closer, and it's made the world a little bit hotter. And then it goes on to talk about it has 2 moons that don't create tides, and then the nickel-iron dense core that gives it the slightly higher gravity than would be expected at its size. Normally gravity would be at 0.35, and this is at 0.69. Capital was once known as Silea, and has been inhabited by humans for hundreds of thousands of years. And the Sileans, a human minor race, were seeded in the world by the ancients after thousands of years of intermixing with Villani, Salamani, and other human subspecies. There are a few genetically pure Sileans remaining. There are some Silean populations that preserve their genetic and cultural identities, mostly those who maintain an isolated existence in the mountain ranges. It's well defended by 3 full batrons present in the system at all times. The planet is defended by squadrons of smaller system defense spacecraft, dozens of orbital batteries of lasers, missiles, particle weapons, ground-based aerial defenses, and deep-sight Mason guns. Capital makes more of an effort than most worlds to conceal its defenses. It doesn't want to look like it's a bunker. There is a nice little map of Capital. These are reasons why I chose Capital as my first UWP to look at. I knew this book had a ton of really good information on it. So there you go. And then we take a look at the Grand Palace of Arbalatra. I'm not going to go into detail on that, but I am going to show you a neat cutaway of it. There you go. That's the Emperor's home. That's where he hangs his cloak. I love Capital. One of the greatest things when I first got into Traveler, I was excited to learn about the Emperor and Capital and who ruled and how they ruled. And in the early Traveler stuff, we have a hint at kind of an evil Palpatine type Emperor who's ruling from a distant planet and is cold and calculating. And then as they developed a little bit more, they said, nah, Strefan's a nice guy. He's a wonderful person, and he's the people's emperor, and he really wants to be of the masses. So I kind of like that. One of my earliest introductions for Capital in Traveler was an article in Traveler's Digest. It was an adventure where the players, for various reasons, have to wait for it, plan the princess's 16th birthday party. Yes, the PCs are called on to go ahead and plan this party. It's from the Digest Group Publications, Traveler's Digest, and they're on Capital, and through various reasons, they end up having to plan her party. I laughed out loud when I read that for the first time. The idea of a bunch of stumblebum guys coming together and planning a 16-year-old's birthday party just absolutely left me in fits. I like the idea. It's not an adventure I would ever run, but I really thought it was fun. Now, taking an idea like that and adapting it into like a D&D type thing might be okay. But for a world like Capital, where the princess is used to the best of the best, and you have a bunch of schlubs plan her party, it just absolutely gave me the giggles. But there you have it. That's just a quick look at the ruling planet, Capital, the home of the Iridium throne, the place the Emperor does all his work from, the place where the Moot meets. It's just a key world in Traveler, and I really enjoyed reading over it and researching for this, and I just really enjoyed it. So that's all I've got for today on page 121. I want to thank you for your time. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Leave any comments below, any planets you want to see taken a look at. And like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And please remember the Patreon. But that's it for today on page 121. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.